Market's open. We got an easy inch pro forming on Meta right away. And we got one on Tesla right away. So I'm going to kind of get my my trades ready here for possibilities. Tesla to the downside. 365 puts. Meta to the upside. Let's look for 670s. There's no rush. You should have it already set up. You got 2 minutes left in that candle. Some people will say, well, the price was moving so fast, I didn't have time. It just feels like it, right? You got time. See, there's no easy inch pro on Meta. It went away. But we still have Tesla trying to break that 364, 367, 365 level, sorry. Watching NQ, easy inch pro to the downside. We've got to wait for that break at 26. Going to break at 26, possibly on NQ for a move to the downside. Main focus right now is on Tesla. Got an easy inch pro and NVIDIA. A little bit of a messy chart right there. Get rid of these pivots. There we go. You have an easy inch pro and NVIDIA. Tesla holding the line. MU, easy entry pro. I like that momentum on MU. See how quick we can do this one here. In MU to the upside. Watching Tesla. I think I'm going to bail out of here on MU. Yeah, I bailed on that one there. All right, focus in on Tesla here. Come back to MU if it works out, but that's a dangerous one. Lost $200 on that trade. So we'll watch Tesla here for a possibility. It's holding the Easy Incher Pro also, so we got nothing there. So it looks like we're in chill mode here. We're in chill mode. I'm flat. You know, I'm going to take a starting contract on Tesla, actually. Just a starter here. Get a good position. See if it breaks. If it breaks 365, we'll be in good position here. So it's the second. If this candle, the next candle or two doesn't break, then I'll just get out and wait for something else. Yeah. Like I said, she either goes or she doesn't. So I'll let that candle close there. Not looking good. All right, back to chill mode here. There's nothing going on. So thought we might have had an opportunity on MU right away there. We did get a little bit of a spurt to the upside. You'd have had to have been quick on it. That one contract down $200 on that. And just like that, down $80 on Tesla. So I'm down $300 for the day so far. Still in Tesla, haven't gotten out of it yet. I want to see how that 3-minute candle closes there. Also watching NQ to see if we get a break of the ORB here, or if she's going to reject. So I'm flat. I'm flat everything right now. Palantir's coming into the 138 level with the Easy Incher Pro. You got an Easy Incher Pro being created on Tesla, and we got one on Meta. And those are all done. Palantir seems to be pushing. If you got a margin account, this way you keep trying. You take your starters until she goes. Right? Palantir looking at 140s. See if she wants to break. Things are kind of all over the place here right now. So we do got to get above the 138 level here on Palantir. So hopefully this closes above. Yeah, Tesla's not looking favorable. It's looking good to the upside, the big bottom wicks here. So I'm in Palantir here, just a starting position. It's up 8%. So we got about a minute left in this 3-minute candle. And once again, it either works or it doesn't. So in that starting contract that I took, if it doesn't work, right, I'm going to be closer to my stop out. It's going to be just a little bit. So got that Easy Entry Pro winning trade there on NQ. That worked out really good. I don't know if anybody got that. All right, Palantir close. Let's see if it's going to give us a trade or not. Let's watch and see if Tesla breaks. It's a little crazy. You got everything is kind of going all over the place. To me, the sentiment appears to be to the downside, maybe. It's hard to tell. NBIS looking like it wants to push to the downside. We have an Easy Entry Pro on Meta setting up. There's your Tesla move to the upside off that Easy Entry Pro. It's trying to break. Wait for it to break. Anybody grab that NQ to the downside? That was a good play. We also got the bounce off of the The ORB on the 15-minute? I think it is, yeah. Oh, that was the 15-minute ORB. Yep, be very careful. So we got Meta. If Meta decides to break, I'm looking at Meta. I tried both Tesla and MU, down $330. We got Palantir working out. See if that one wants to push. So we got nothing on Meta. Your trade on Tesla, Easy Intra Pro, worked out. So you are, look for your $2 move on that. If you took Tesla, your $2 move should be right about 369.30 right there on Tesla. So far, Tesla's the one that worked out, the one that I did not get into. It's starting to work, so. It's got to get over that level there. You got a level at 368.40-ish. Palantir's still trying to break the Easy Entry Pro. We need a 3-minute candle to close above that level. And you got your winning trade on Tesla, you guys. That was it. I know it's easy to talk yourself out of the trades because of the price action and whatnot and what's going on. Stopped myself out of the first one. I got stopped out of MU, so it's tough to try to keep trading. That's persistence, and that would have paid off very well on that Tesla trade. And we'll recap this, how this would have played out. Again. So you'd be done with that Tesla trade. You should be out of it already if you took that one. Or at least down to a trailer. Watching Meta right here. Nice trade on Tesla, you guys. Beautiful trade. This is why I like to focus on just the Tesla and Meta, because they do work out more often than not. In Meta to the upside. Just one contract here. I'm trying to see how this wants to play out. Actually, my other account, I took 10 contracts on Meta. So. You're in the CIZ on Palantir here at 50%, so I'd take some off right here. Should be up about 15% on Palantir. Major FOMO on Tesla, you guys. That was the trade. Palantir was good too. But I'm in Meta here also. Let's see if we can't get something to fly for us on Meta. Persistence. We got to maintain persistence. Still waiting to see if I want to add to this trade or not. I don't like the price action on it. You know, it's hard when price is moving slow like this, right? Your brain's on hyperspeed and you're trying to figure out, should I take it or not? And you know, at the end of the day, you're going to come back and look at these and you're going to go, oh yeah, they worked out. So you got a CIZ trade on Palantir right now. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to stay focused in here on Meta for just a second here to see if we get a play. Otherwise, I'll be doing nothing. There we go. We're up $230 on Meta, 7.8%. Looking for the high there. 460. This is why you just have to take the easy inch pros and trust them. 480 bucks on Meta right here. Because we're coming to the top of that order B there, I'm going to take some of these off. That puts me into the green. So now I'm green for the day. And I'll hang on to the rest of these to see if we get something. But I'd much rather have had that Tesla play. Like I said, you guys, these either work or they don't. And the tough part is then that 3-minute candle on Meta there, if you look at that, emotionally, psychologically, you know, you're watching that go back and forth, and it's tough because, like I said, your brain's moving a lot faster than price, and you start convincing yourself that it's too edgy and it might not work out. And that's the problem, is you're thinking, and you shouldn't be thinking, right? You should be doing. If you start thinking, then emotions get involved. And if your emotions get involved, pretty soon you'll talk yourself out of a trade. So it's just about probabilities. You just have to take the trade. I'm going to take 3 of them off here and hold 2 trailers on Meta. So we're up 25%. We were up 25% on that. Hopefully you can catch what I'm putting down when I say that, because when you come back and you back test these, it's just so easy, right, to say, oh, you know what? It's just price is too choppy. I'm not taking it. I don't like the price action. You know, you start getting emotionally involved. What I like, what I don't like. This doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel good. Well, anytime you use the word feel, you're talking about emotions, okay? And so if you're talking about emotions, that means that you're trying to make decisions emotionally, psychologically, right? And remember, we're mathematicians. That's all we are. We're just playing probability. I took MU, I got stopped out. Not a big deal, right? I took Tesla, got stopped out. Not a big deal. Okay, those are just starters. I was down 330 bucks. Well, I made all that money back, right? Now I'm on Meta here. I'm up $520 on Meta. Right? Being persistent, staying with it. It's not about what I think or feel. It's just about what the math, what the probabilities are going to give me. And that's all I am focused in on. I cannot think about anything else. If I start entertaining, right, my emotions, I'm not going to be able to trade. So, and another thing is, you know, sometimes you can have 6 tickers on your chart and you'll do just fine. Or sometimes you only need 2 and you'll do better because your eyes will start to float, right? And if you got floating eyes, what happens? Right? You start to miss setups. And that's what happened here on Tesla today. We kind of floated a little bit there. We're up 42%, $123 per contract on Meta. So I'm looking for the CIZ on Meta, that last contract. Remember this morning we talked about this? This is why we go through the routine and we do that quick little exercise to get yourself mentally ready for that trade. The first one on Meta did not work. You didn't have a play, but look at the second one. She worked out nicely. Hopefully you guys got that trade with me. This is working out really, really nice on Meta, you guys. What a lifesaver. We're up 60% on Meta. 178 bucks a contract. Today I'm not necessarily looking for like a huge return. What I want to do on this last contract is I want to try to hold to see if we can bust through the CIZ. So my stop out on this here in this last contract, like I said, I'm not overly worried about making bank on this last contract. What I'm more worried about is developing my play, my strategy, and that is to try to hold for the bigger move. Okay. So nice $218 per contract on this, you guys. It's worth the hold. Remember, I lost my first two trades here. I took one on MU. Got a little overly confident on it, which is fine. Ended up getting stopped out. That was a big loss. That's the thing on MU. You got to be very careful. One contract, one starter, down $200, and I lost another $100 on that Tesla starter also. So it was down 330. Then I took the meta trade. Right, persistence is key. 10 contracts. And we got $580 on that one. Still hanging on to one trailer here. That one trailer's up $108, 36%. Told you what my stop out is. I'm going to try to hold this through the CIZ zone. Hallelujah, Ryan. Good job, man. $144 per contract for Ryan on Meta. He's a small account. He's playing one contract at a time. Good job. As you can see, you guys, I don't have my watch list up. I only have Meta. It's the only one I want to be focusing in on. I don't want to focus in on anything else. I don't want my attention to get drawn away. All right, this is it. This is my trade. This is what I do for a living right here, right now. My mind does not need to be anywhere else at the moment. It needs to be right here. I don't even know how Palantir's coming way down. So that's not good. So that, like I said, let's say Palantir was doing well or something, or another ticker, MU came back, right, on MU, and it's above where I got stopped out. What'll happen is I'll start getting emotionally involved, and I'll start thinking and watching and looking at it instead of giving Meta my full attention. So you guys will learn this if you attend the Psychomaniac Day Trading Series, where we talk about the psychology of trading. It's coming up here shortly. Remember, you guys, you're mathematicians. So far, Meta holding the line. Watching NQ also for a break at the Easy Entry Pro right here. I'll be taking that one if it breaks. And thinking I might get out of Meta here. I have a south side move indicator, high volume to the downside here. Doesn't always mean anything, but it's kind of letting me know that it's trying to push to the downside, which gives me a CIZ trade. So I'm going to jump out of this trade here on Meta. Hopefully I get filled on this. It's a little bit of a late. There we go. All right. Tried to hold for a bigger move. I got $36 on that last contract versus what, $100 or a couple $100, which I'm okay with. This thing still could work, but that was my plan, was to get out. And if we broke below that level and we broke back into it, and it's trying to push down. I got another indicator here in the smaller time frame saying that we're trying to break to the downside here. So. If you look at NQ, you got a bullish easy entry pro. Now remember, that's your second easy entry pro in the leg. So we are in the CIZ. We are in the crush it zone on NQ. So be careful there. Look for a retest of that ORB. And if it breaks back into ORB, I'll consider NQ to the downside here. And somebody says, hey, you're at the CIZ. You got to move to the upside here on the easy entry pro, a bullish move. And then the CIZ is a bearish reversal, right? So we're moving to the downside. Someone will say, well, how do you know which one it's going to do? And I don't. I don't. All I know is this, that if I have an easy entry pro on Meta right now, I'm well over 90% for a $3 move plus. Easy. If I have a CIZ, I have a 70% chance of a $3 reversal. So that means that once I hit the CIZ, I now have a 30% chance, right, of price moving past the CIZ. So that means that this is a good spot to get out, especially at the 50% mark. Does that make sense? We had a $4.89 move. Now here's another thing that I talk about. This happens when you collect data, right? The data says that if price breaks the 475 level on Meta, so if we're at 475, I'm sorry, when I say 475, what I meant is price right here. If we go up off the easy entry pro, there's 475. If I put a level in here at that, okay, the data says that if I break and hold $4.75 above the easy entry pro, that I have a 70% chance now of continuing another $3 to $5 on Meta. So if we break this level right here, we can take a starter to the upside here on Meta, right? So you see how I manage that? We have a 70% chance of a $3 pullback on Meta from the CIZ, okay? There's your $3 pullback right there. So that's a winning trade, a $3 trade on the CIZ, Meta to the downside, okay? It does not have to keep going. Now she moves back to the upside, so you now will wait and see if we get that break, right? Or you can actually take the retest on this area too on the smaller time frame. And that is that working out? Let me take a peek at that on the 1 minute. So you do have a bullish candle there. So let's see if we can hit 673.50 on Meta again. A nice CIZ trade there on Palantir also. Did we not get FOMO on Tesla or what? Wow, what a move. What a beautiful move on Tesla. So talk about persistence. Had you taken the second MU, even though you got stopped out, you should be well above what your stop out loss was on that trade. At an easy entry pro to the downside. A lot of the good trades happen at 10 o'clock. You can see that MU had a pretty close to 10 o'clock, and then we had a nice crush it zone break on Tesla to the upside there. So you guys should be, if you're in a trade, the only trades you really should be in are Meta, Tesla, and MU at the moment. You might have taken a NVIDIA trade, but those are the 2-3 trades that you'd be in right now. Now let's wait for Meta to see if it wants to break the 673 level. And then if it does, we're going to try some more Meta to the upside. Hope I didn't see that, Carlos. Take care. Seeing that you got to go. So we got 2 winning trades today on Meta and Tesla. Remember, I tried MU. Got stopped out. And, I tried a call on Tesla that I got out so I could focus in on Palantir. And look at that right there. Ended up taking a little bit of a loss on that. So, well, actually, the Tesla put. I took a Tesla put. My bad. So, a lot of times I'll tell you guys, especially the new guys, wait for the break. You can see that Tesla did not really get the break. 100% below this level here, but I did take a starting position here, and I got out fairly quick right in here when it didn't work. Like I said, they either work or they don't. I'll tell you a little exercise that I do, right? I got the 3-minute chart up here, and you want to know if these trades work or not, right? They're going to work within, at least 3 candles. Set your timer on your clock, for 6, 9, 12 minutes. Just do a 10-minute timer on it, and don't allow yourself, unless this thing goes extremely against you, but don't allow yourself to make any move on that trade for 10 minutes. All right, if it's not moving, if it moves already and it starts moving before that 10-minute mark, then go ahead and obviously trim, and manage your trade appropriately. But if you're having a tough time holding, like for instance, if you're in Tesla here, right? And you get the easy entry pro, and you got a candle here. Believe me, you look at it after the fact. This doesn't look bad. You're like, well, yeah, just hold to the trade. Well, when you're in the trade and you see this candle's red down here, and you're getting below the easy entry pro, you start freaking out a little bit, and you're wondering, hey, I'm just going to get out and wait for it to break. Well, if you have your timer set, that's 3, 6, 9, 10 minutes is up at this third candle right here. So set that timer on your clock and force yourself to stay in that trade for a minimum of 10 minutes or 9 minutes or whatever you decide, however you want to manage that trade. But don't get so stubborn to the point where you're going to hold it because I got to hold for 9 minutes, but then all of a sudden you're holding at a $5 drawdown. You're not going to do that, right? I mean, you got enough sense not to do that. Hopefully. Yeah, they're good. I mean, MU is a little choppy, not horribly choppy, but it's choppy enough. But yeah, good moves. Good moves. I had Hood up here. I took it down. I put NBIS there, but I'm going to put that back up there. Yeah, Hood's got a decent easy entry pro. Nice move. Not bad, but yeah, the big move. The tickers that we normally watch that give us the best payday, you can see them right there. Those are Meta and Tesla. It's all about focus, you guys. If you can stay focused in on this, you're going to do just fine. The hard part is listening to me talk, and you're trying to focus, and you're trying to look at all these charts. This is a lot of times when you'll see me just come in here, and I'll just pop this up just like this, because I don't want to look at anything else. This is all I want to look at. Okay? But MU, yeah, what a monster move on MU. You know, once again, your logical mind to try to make up and to compensate for your opportunity miss. If you miss an opportunity, your logical mind is going to come in and it's going to say, hey, you know what? Price action was off today, so, I wouldn't have taken that one either. And then you start, looking through your peers going, does anybody agree with me? And then you start feeling more comfortable that you didn't take that trade. Well, if that works for you, that's great. But once again, at the end of the day, none of that matters. If you're going to be a successful trader, you just have to understand how the easy entry pro works. It does all the legwork for you. You really don't have to do anything other than click the button, really. You know what I mean? It takes everything and puts it together, and it lets you know when it's ready for the play. Okay, you can see MU. I did take a starter here. I got stopped out. I always take starters, but if you didn't take a starter, you would have never gotten into this trade regardless. And you can see that this one here works out. So they all work out, you guys, I'm telling you. Okay, let's watch Meta. And if Meta breaks here, we're going to take some Meta to the upside here and at least try. Am I going to be worried about getting stopped out or a loss? No, I'm not going to let it bother me. Okay, it's not going to bother me. I'm not going to sweat it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You cannot make money if you don't trade, right? You have to understand the data and you have to play it accordingly with your rules and be disciplined. Being disciplined means that if your setup takes place, you kind of got to take it, right? So let's wait here and see what happens. Hopefully you can learn from today if you did not get into the trade and you go back and you retest or back test and look at what happened for the day. What you should be studying is what was your emotional mindset at that moment in time. And then talk to yourself and say, hey, listen, I did not need to be thinking like that. I just needed to understand the probability of that trade working out. And 90% is 90%. And as you can see on Meta, it hit the 90%. You only have a 10% chance of losing that trade. You realize that, right? And if you lose that 10%, you have even a less chance of losing two in a row on it. So the odds of losing the second trade are even less. So you have like a 90, I'm going to make a number up. It's probably about 98% chance of the second one working out, or 2%, 5% chance that it's not going to work out. And if you get two losses in a row, then you get two losses in a row. It's going to be very seldom and very random. So once again, we had two beautiful trades on Meta and Tesla using the Easy Entry Pro all day long. And right now we're waiting for a second opportunity on Meta. The data shows that when Meta breaks, $4.75 away from the first Easy Entry Pro, that 70% of the time it produces another $3 to $5 move. So if we break this level and hold right here in the crush it zone, that means the data says that we have a 70% chance of this thing moving another $3. Okay. So we'll kind of put this level in right here. We'll mark this out. We may not get it, but at least if it attempts to do it, we'll know what we're working with. We have expectations. Now, so you guys, I would highly recommend if you are in a trade, do what I did, and that's just blow the screen up here, forget about everything else going on around you, and just focus in on that one trade. And when it's done and over, you're out, whether you got stopped out or you're scaled out and you're done, then go ahead and look at your watch list and see what else you got cooking. But what you don't want to do is you don't want your attention to deviate from that. So we do have a CIZ indicator, but we are above the crush it zone on Tesla. So what that means is we're looking for a break, which it broke. Now we're looking for the retest and continuation to the upside on Tesla. If I take any Tesla to the upside on that retest on the CIZ zone, I'm only going to take 30% of my profits, right? I'm only going to risk on the second and third trade 30% of my winnings from the first trade. So let's focus in on Meta here for a minute. See if we're going to get this trade. So if I get in here, I'm only going to take about 3 contracts. I'm on the 10-second chart. And I'm going to wait for an entire candle to break above. I'll take a starting position. And then if we get through the crush it zone, I'll look for that break. I'll look for my impulsive crush it zone at that point, right? I'll look for my fib level there. And then that's where I'll trim most of them off. And then when I come back for the retest, then we'll grab some more. Does that make sense? But first things first is we have to wait for this to break this level. Don't get anxious and just take the trade, right? Wait for it to set up. We do not have an entire bullish candle yet that has closed above that level on the 10-second chart. We just did have right now. We just have one right now. So if we're looking at 675s, they're cheap. Take 3 contracts there. So now we're to the back side of the crush it zone. We're getting there, so we want to wait for the break. We'll do our impulsive crush it zone here. Watch the 675.50 level for a pullback. Watch 675 for a pullback. We'll mark that out right now. There it is right there. There it is. See? Watch. I'm going to take one of the contracts off right here. Currently up 23%, $177. Taking one off. Okay, I'm expecting a pullback here. I don't know how big of a pullback, but we are expecting a pullback here. And we'll get that retest on the crush it zone. Mark this zone out right here, like this. And I can get rid of this here so we don't have to look at it. There's my area. So up 26%, 128 bucks on 3 contracts. Like I said, remember, there's a good chance we're going to hit the 675 $3 move. We have a 70% chance of that happening. We'll kind of we'll scale on our way up. What I'd like to do is try to hold, of these 2 I have left, I'd try to hold the one for 675.50 and hold the second one, the last one, if we get a break and get a bigger move to the upside. So our daily, we got an ATR of about $20. So here's 20 bucks is way up here. So we got room. We'll let those ride out. Now we're looking to add, right, to our profits. I'm not looking to jump out of a trade and get jittery when things start to go against me. If I end up flat on the trade or lose 20, 30, 40 bucks, it's okay. You can't win unless you try, right? So we know that 70% of the time we're going to win these. So the 30% of the time that I get stopped out at negative 40, 50, maybe even 100 bucks, it's okay because the other trades are going to definitely make up for that one losing trade. Okay, so let's not worry about that. Let's worry about getting this thing right to 675.50, or I'm sorry, 676.50, I think it is. So you see this is what we call the impulsive crush it zone right here. So if you're watching, you see that I put this level, this zone in here. And, once again, almost every time when you break a level, you're breaking structure, you need an impulsive candle. You put your fibs on that impulsive candle and it gives you a zone, right? We have that zone marked out in here, and we know that a large percentage of the time we're going to get a pullback, and that's exactly what you've seen here was that pullback on that. So let's see if this candle closes in just a second here. We'll see how this moves and if it wants to push up higher. There's 10:30, sorry, my bad. Once again, don't forget, you'll learn all of this stuff in the Psychomaniac Day Trading Series. 90% of what we're dealing with here is not the strategy, it's our inner emotions. If you can get a hold of that, you'll be just fine. So still hanging on to 2 contracts of Meta. Looking for a break of the impulsive crush it zone. We did break that level, $4.75 from the original Easy Entry Pro, where we now have a 70% chance of hitting 676.50. So what price is doing right now, I can see in the 1 minute, we're bouncing back and forth between the crush it zone and the impulsive crush it zone, right? So this could want to break back down. Once again, I'm not going to worry If I get out flat on these, I'm going to be fine with that. That's okay. You got to understand the probabilities again. I know I'm repeating myself, but I want you to understand this. 70% of the time, you're going to do good. 30% of the time, you're going to come out flat. So don't look at the fact that you were up, $200 and then you gave it all back and you should have just, walked away when you were ahead. You got to erase all the emotions and just play the probabilities, play the math. That's what we're doing here. You're going to hear me repeat this a million times. So I do like NQ also. Look for a pullback to the 9 EMA for continuation on that one. Got possibility. That's a big move. That's all easy Intra Pro too. Later on, we'll go through the recap. So if you're playing NQ and you're trying to pass prop firms or just get profitable in a cash account, I'll show you the easy Intra Pro here later on the recap. It's quite the indicator. I hate to use the word never fails, but if you look at the data that I keep and the way that I play it, I'm not going to say you should win every trade, but you should come out green most days. 90% of the time, you should have green days. Took a red day today playing the Easy Intra Pro with persistence. And so now we're back into the green, so we're looking good on that. And now this is all bonus money in the bonus round right here. You can see we're still trying to break that impulsive crush it zone on Meta. It's holding. The difference between the previous three candles on Meta here and this candle here, this candle, all the moving averages are lining up, right? Beneath the sheets here, you can't see them, but they're lining up on smaller time frames, letting us know that we have a pullback coming on Meta. Amir took hood. Good job. Yeah, considering the stock, once again, if you're going for base hits, right, and you're not trying to hit a grand slam and YOLOing your account, you're going to do just fine. Not every day is going to be a ginormous winner. But if you're persistent and you stay consistent in your persistence, right, in taking those trades, you're going to get good trades. So, once again, not perfect. And I don't know exactly what his entry was, but if you're playing the Easy Intra Pro, you got about a 60-cent move. You got a nice pullback there for an ad. And but anyways, congratulations on the hood. And even if it's a flat or even if you're up only $100, the thing is you got to give it a shot. You don't know. If anybody here knows, did anybody know Tesla was going to run like it ran? Nobody knew that. That's why we take the Easy Intra Pro when it all sets up, and we take it. There's my pullback on NQ down to the 9. I'm looking at this here to the upside. I do like that. We'll try a little one there. I'm trying some micros. Still in Meta. Waiting for a break of the zone. Yeah, nice job, Amir. And look at our play on meta here, you guys. Is this not working out or not? Look at that. Is this not working out? We're up 34% on meta right now. Oh, I must have thought I had 2 contracts. Did I sell one? I guess not. I'm up $87 per contract, right? So we'll close that trade. Nice scalp move there. Got about 87, 90 bucks per contract. I thought I had 2 left. I must have sold one and didn't realize it. But I'm out of that trade. That was it. Now this thing could run, once again, it can run another $5, okay? And it has room to do it. The ATR says it can. But the reason why I'm out is I'm in a smaller account. And I don't want the risk. I set my goal. I set my target. I'm disciplined. I got almost to it, got out of the trade, and we move on. We wait to play another day. Okay. Now, how would this be different if I had a bigger account and I was playing 20 or 30 contracts? Okay, I would have taken the Easy Entry Pro right here. Let's see if I can get myself an arrow up here so you can see this a little bit better. Right? So I got the Easy Entry Pro. Well, you can see the trade automatic works out. Just for the sake of Easy Entry Pro is an awesome trade. But if I got 30 contracts, there's no need for me to take anything out until I get a red candle. Okay, what you cannot do, think about this here for 1 second, okay? If you get into this trade right here, okay, and you take this all the way up and you have, what is that, about a $5, $4.50 move up there, and right here you're thinking to yourself, from here to here is $3. It's a lot of money. It's a big loss, okay? But here's the thing. Had I not played by the rule of staying in the trade until I got a red candle, this is my first red candle, right? You can easily say, well, you know, you gave back all that money. No, I didn't. I might have gotten out a lot earlier. So remember, my goal here is about $2 on meta, and that's right about here, okay? Right about in that area right there. And by playing that little game in my head, right, that having that rule saying don't get out until you get a red candle, it allowed me to stay in the trade a little bit longer. So I did make more money, even though I didn't make as much. Now, the other piece of the puzzle is on the CIZ, right? We have a CIZ trade there, so we know to get out of that trade there. I'm looking at a CIZ trade now on meta to the downside, you guys. Let's watch this here. I'll quit talking and we'll start focusing in on a possible crush it zone trade. So we should have a nice play right here. Now if I take meta to the downside here, I'm going to wait for this candle to close. It's looking good on the 1 minute here. You see how we're holding that level there, that retest, that break there? That's the 475 break. That's not random. You may say, hey, where'd that level come from? It's not random. It's data. The data shows that 475 on meta with the Easy Entry Pro, those become levels. And you can backtest this over and over and over again, and you'll see a majority of the time that price at $4.75 after we get our first Easy Entry Pro, a lot of times, right, will be a reactive area. So we do want to break below this on the smaller time frame with a full candle to confirm our CIZ to the downside. We're still in the zone, so we do want to break outside that zone. And we'd be looking for the 671 area. Currently up $566 for the day. I should have been up about $800. Remember, I lost $330 to start with. I made money back on Palantir, Tesla, and Meta on those Easy Entry Pros to the upside. I took another scalp trade on Meta on the break of what I call the 475 threshold there on Meta. You can see that the CIZ so far is not working out. It's holding. We're waiting for that breakthrough there. We're going to break through to the downside here. I just bought one contract. I made it to the downside here. So up 2.5%. Like I said, I'm not trying to go big, just kind of adding to my position little by little, or adding to my profits little by little here. So hopefully this will work out. We want to get a break and hold below 673. And I'll be looking for a target of about 671. Target 671. Not looking at any other tickers. I have no clue what else is going on. I'm focused 100% on this meta trade. Currently sitting up about $5. Just waiting. You also have a not only do you have a CIZ here, you have a leg reset. So if I turn this off here, you can see we have right here, we have a easy entry pro to the downside. So you get a lot of confluence here. This is why I would take the starter. You have an impulsive crush it zone, right? We do have the regular crush it zone. We have a CIZ indicator, right? And we have an easy entry pro leg reset to the downside. So I think that's worth a starter. A lot of confluence to the downside on this. So target, once again, 671. The trade either works or it doesn't. You set your timer, right, for 9-10 minutes, or just judge it. Well, you know, we got 3 candles. What I'll do is I'll take this right here where it has these scales on here, and I can go like this here. And what I can do, right, is I can change the bars. I can go 5 bars on here, right, and it shortens this up here, so it says, hey, you know what? This is either going to hit our level within this time frame or not. And if not, then we get out of the trade. And we wait for it to break. So my stop out on this would be on this particular one, about 50% of this candle right here at this point now. So this would be my stop out if we close above that area. Reason being for me is I already got my profits for the day, right? I'm up a little over $500. And I'm not going to give too much back. I'm not going to go red on this trade. but I am going to give it time to work out. Now I can see I'm already 2 candles into it. So if that third candle gets up to that area, I no longer want the trade. Even if it works out 5, 6, 7 candles later, I no longer want it. I want the ones that are going to work out right away. And I'll get out with just, a $20 loss. Still currently up 551 on the day, so we'll see how that works out. What's happening right now is we're getting a cloud shift on the 1 minute, and price is holding the bottom of that crush it zone. You could see price is trying to stay in there. That's why I said I need a candle on the 3-minute chart to close below the crush it zone, that near side of the crush it zone. So there's 9 seconds left here. Let's see if this thing is going to close. And let's move towards our target. See. So one of the things I want to point out here, I know we're trying to focus, but I think this is a good learning lesson right here, is that one candle right here, you think you didn't have enough time to get into this, but you do. And then also, as you're in this trade, right, the trade either works or it doesn't, and it's working. So we don't do anything at this moment because it's working. It's when price gets it back above this level and we got all these candles kind of consolidating in here, then we get out. We want it to work. We don't want to play with it, right? So just be patient. Let's wait. It's working. Let's give it a chance to get down to 671. Now, if you get down to 671 and you're up $15 per contract because maybe it took 7 more candles to get down here, don't think to yourself, well, that's not enough money. I want to hold for a bigger move. That is not the way we play this. You have to take profits. You have to take it at your target, even if theta and decay's got the best of you, which is another reason why we don't want it to go another 7 candles. We want this thing to work out, within 3 to 4 candles. And if not, we get out. We'll wait for the next one. Does that make sense? It's going to save you a lot of headache if you play by those rules. A lot of stress. What I call riding the rodeo. If this one doesn't work, this is going to be it for me for the day. You can see prices slow down a lot. I don't mind sitting in one contract. If it grinds down, I'm okay with that, as long as we're getting paid. But if this doesn't work, if I get stopped out above that area there, I'm going to call it a day. I'll be done. You'll see how important this candle is right here. We need to get a rejection on the 50% of that Easy Entry Pro candle. We had a drop and pop there, or we have a pop and drop, because we are doing a cloud shift here on Meta to the downside. It is trying to put together some bearish momentum. That's why I thought for sure we might hit that 671, but Henry is saying no way. So we got that candle closure there, right? You see that candle closure? So, what'll happen is you'll psychologically go, hey, you know what? She's pulling back. I'm going to hang tight. That's your retest. You got twin fair value gaps in there. So the best thing you can do is just get out of the trade. You're done. Right? We gave back $100. We gave it a shot. Not the end of the world. There we go. 456 for the day. We had a 70% chance of that CIZ trade working out. And it still could work out. But we got 3 candles into it. We got the 4th candle in here. It's going to have to drop pretty quick. You can see I'm getting to the end there, so we're done. So That's it. Let's go back to the watch list now. I'm flat everything. No trades right now. We do sometimes get stuff at 11 o'clock. You got a second Easy Inch Pro that's kind of lining up right around the same as the first one on Palantir, but it's at the CIZ. Now, if you're in profit right now and you're green, I wouldn't blame you for hesitating. You want to protect your profits. If you do take a second trade, 30% of your winnings is what you should be investing, a maximum of 30%. Then she had to reverse. Let's take a peek at it. So you had NQ. Oh, the NQ push. So almost messed up. Tried it to the downside. So I imagine the downside you tried it at about 1039 roughly. So on YouTube you cannot see the NQ chart, but if you're in the room, the room is absolutely free. You can just click the links below and get in the room, and you can see how we trade futures also, and you'll see some of the other charts and the things we have in the room, and you can get in on some of the free classes. But I'm imagining you got in here on the Easy Inch Pro, the leg reset to the downside. This wasn't bad. If you look at the full points on the second momentum candle here, you got 19 points. So if you didn't hesitate and you trusted the candle, you would have done just fine. You would have gotten at least 2 trims out of it for sure, depending on how you would have managed that or what your management style was on that. So. I'm going to give it, I'll be here for about 15 more minutes, and I'm going to call it a day. We talk a little bit about some psychology stuff, because right now, like I said, your mind, if you didn't get a big win, that's okay. Because if I tell you what, if I did not tell you what price action was like today, and you came back and you back tested and you looked at all the opportunities for the day, it would make sense. Right? It would feel good. You're like, oh, I can do that. But you can see when we're trading live and the price feels lethargic, like you want it to move fast, the trades still work out. They still play in your favor. Okay? But psychologically, when you're in the trade, like today on Meta or Tesla, or even Palantir or MU, right? You think to yourself, wow, that's too slow. And you'll talk yourself out of taking the trade. Okay. Hang on here. I lost my train of thought anyway. So it's something I wanted to say, because a lot of times, like I said, we'll look at this and go, yeah, price action wasn't the best. It wasn't worth taking. I'm not trading this and I'm not trading that. So you get into this thing. If price is trading too fast, it's too volatile. You don't want it. If price is trading too slow, well, there's not enough volatility, not enough volume. I don't want it. If price is in the middle, believe me, you're going to find another reason why it's not good to trade. It's too choppy. It's too this. It's too that. I hear it all the time from people, like on Tesla or something. They'll say, "Oh, it's too choppy." It's not. If you look at when the play sets up, I'm just going to recap this because I'm going to get going for the day, you guys. So let's just do a quick recap. I don't see anything that I want to play here. Sorry for the charts. They look just a little bit messy here. Let me get rid of this here so it doesn't look so messy. All right. And like on Tesla here, sorry for the messy charts once again. You have your Easy Inch Pro right here, right? And once again, you're looking at price action, you're looking at NQ, you're looking at QQQ, you're looking at SPY, SPX, and you're trying to think and be a meteorologist. You're trying to make decisions on what you think is going to happen. And that's people trade like that all the time. There's nothing wrong with it if you can be successful and you understand how to trade it. But I'm just saying, with Easy Inch Pro, you don't even need to go there, right? You don't even need to get emotionally or mentally involved. right? You have an Easy Entry Pro that we tried to the downside here, one starter. We got stopped out for $100. We get another Easy Entry Pro to the upside. What do? Don't even think about it. You just flip positions and look at what we have here. Okay, and I show you this every morning. I show you over and over and over again. So don't talk yourself out of a trade. Don't talk yourself out of the trade. You'll do it every single time. And I'm sure there's people here today right now that wish they would have hung on to Tesla longer, that wish they would have taken the meta trade, but for some reason they were talking themselves out of it. And it's like no different than when you're in the airplane and you're going to skydive for the very first time all by yourself. Nobody's with you. You're going to jump all alone, right? I guarantee you're going to talk yourself out of that trade. Now, if you're going to skydive, right, and it's your very first time in an airplane and you've had very little to no training, how easy will it be for you to talk yourself out of jumping out of an airplane? Be pretty freaking easy, wouldn't it? How easy would it be to talk yourself out of jumping out of an airplane if you've had, 3 months of practice and prep for that jump? Okay. It's still going to be tough. You still could talk yourself out of it. You'll come up with reasons, but you're going to be a lot more prepared. Okay. So quit talking yourself out of the trades. Get yourself prepared for the trades by collecting data, right? That's what the data does. It prepares you for the trade so that when you jump, you know what to expect. It could be a fast one. It could be a slow one. All different speeds. Right? I don't know what the trade velocity will be on that particular ticker on that particular day, but unless you're prepared, you're not going to be able to do a good job of talking yourself into the trade. So hopefully this is helping you guys. Amir's mentioning something good. The PDT rule has changed. It used to be $25,000. That means, let me explain to you what the PDT rule is. It means you can only trade 3 trades in a 5-day rolling period. So there's 5 days. If there's 5 trading days in a week, you're only allowed to take 3 trades in that 5 days. Okay. The 6th day, let's say you take a trade on day 1, day 3, and day 5. On day 6, you can take 1 trade, right? It's got to be within 5 days rolling that you can only take that trade. And those are for people that have under $25,000. If you have $25,000 or more in your account, then you can trade as much as you want. You got margin, right? The PDT rule does not account. But the reason why I bring this up is Greg and myself, who's playing another small account, we can take multiple trades on margin, which means that if you're under 25,000, you have a cash account. So if I only have, $5,000 that I'm playing with or $3,000, that means that, if I buy, $2,000 worth of meta, then that gets deducted. I only have $1,000 of buying power left on that particular ticker or whatever ticker I just had to trade, but in my account. But the PDT rule says, hey, you know what? You no longer need $25,000. You can have $2,000. So that means if you have $2,000, most of these firms are going to give you 2 times or 4 times. So if you have 2,000, there's a good chance you'll have 8,000 to play with, or 4,000. It really depends on which firm you're with. Lightspeed, Webull, Robinhood. I don't, whatever their margin criteria is. I know if you have something like Lightspeed, you're most likely going to get 4 to 1, right? If you're in Thinkorswim, you're most likely going to get 4 to 1. And who knows? Maybe the lower amount. Maybe they'll say, hey, if it's $2,000, we'll only give you 2 to 1. We don't know that, but what we do know is now if you have a small account, and they have about 45 days to implement it, but that doesn't mean that in 45 days, everything is going to be good and that your broker should be offering this. It just means that in 45 days, they can start implementing it. It might take a whole year. It might take 6 months to roll out, but you watch, like Tasty Trade. Some of these they're going to start going immediately because they want to start grabbing customers immediately. Now, that's going to allow you to take multiple trades. But if you dip below 2,000, you will have to refeed your account to stay in margin, right? Now, if you don't understand that, we'll talk more about it later, but this is a good thing. What is this going to do for the market? It's going to bring us volatility. And if we trade, we want volatility, we want volume. It's going to cause more people to make more trades. A lot of people in cash accounts today, like in my small account now, my bandwidth is done. I'm pretty much, I think I got like I got $3,000 left in there, $3,600 left in there. And, you know, I had almost 20,000, right? So now I can trade as much as I want without eating up that bandwidth, right? I can take a loss and not worry about it. Keep going. Now, this won't work in an IRA Roth. Your IRA Roths are always going to be cash. But you guys, this PDD rule is a really good thing, right? I think it's good. We'll see, but I think it's good. More people, more volatility, more trades, and, you know, more opportunity, right? So, anyways, I was in the middle of a recap here. And I'm going to do it one more time here real quick. I'm going to fly through this so you can kind of see how well Easy Entry Pro does work when it sets up. So we had Palantir right here. Once again, I don't keep data on Palantir, so I'm not 100%, but I took Palantir right here on the break. It worked out within 2 candles right here. We have a 99-cent move or a dollar move. You know, one of the rule of thumbs, you guys, if I don't have data on a ticker, I will put it up for a 1% move. So technically on Palantir here, what I'd want is, you know, ticker's trading roughly at about $138 per share. So I'm going to want to get about a $1.38 move, right, roughly. So we almost get a 1% move. So I would set my target for about 1% on any particular ticker if I don't have the data on it, okay? So that's Palantir. Hood, real quick. I think Amir took this one here. So here's Hood. Right now, when you got that Easy Entry Pro, we were at $85. So we want to get at least 85 cents on it. We get about 60 cents. Not bad. Not the best payer, but hey, it's a winning trade, okay? And then Meta. Let's look at Meta here. You can see Meta did not get the 1% move on this. We have a different data. I do have data on this, but you'll see that the overall move, right, is $8. So we had a 1% move on this one here. This is broken down a little bit more complex. You had your Easy Entry Pro right here, right? We know we get our pullbacks at the CIZ, and we also know that we get a push if we can break the $4.75 mark there. So every single one of these tickers that I just showed you guys were all winners, right? Now let's talk about the losers. I tried taking MU. Okay, you can see we kind of got wicked out right here, wick and flip. She wicked out, flipped the other direction, and went the other way. But this was a $2.45 move. I was green on it for a minute, but was kind of trying to hold for you know, the 1% move, about $4, which is easy for MU to get to, which would bring us to weekly highs roughly. It didn't happen. She wicked out, went the other way. We got another Easy Entry Pro right in here to the downside, and you can see it took 1, 2. That third candle broke, and she had a nice move to the downside. So if you're persistent, right, if you lose the second one, take the third one, or if you lose the first one, take the second one, and you should be good to go. You might say, hey, well, Will, you got stopped out. Why didn't you? Well, I took Palantir. I took Meta, and I took some Tesla. So I didn't need to take it. But if I was only focused in on MU, then, you know, that would have been the only one I took, right? I think we already talked about Tesla here. I did try taking this to the downside. You know, you'll see me do this a lot. I don't recommend it, but you'll see me do this a lot. I'll take a starting position here on this, waiting for a break of this level. You can see it did hold the 364. Distance is always in the forefront of my mind. I do have an Easy Entry Pro right here. You know, I can easily come back and say, hey, you know, I never should have taken that starter. And maybe I shouldn't have, but I do. Okay, one of the things, the reason why I do this, first of all, I put tight spreads, is it kills my impulsivity. A lot of times I'll get anxious and I get impulsive. And if I just take a one contract starter, a cheap one, a little bit out of the money, it just kills the impulse. It kind of sets me up for the day, and I don't have to worry about being impulsive after that. Second trade right here I got my target right here. I took about a half position, got my target right in here, and got out of this trade here on Tesla, okay? And then the other trade here we have is NVIDIA, okay? And we have a trade right here. You can see we have a black candle set up, and I don't see, do we not have an Easy Entry Pro? Let me set the Easy Entry Pro up on this quick. Looks like we might not have it hooked up. Or maybe we just don't have one. Okay, you got the Easy Entry Pro right here. You wait for the break. Like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th candle. You do have an ORB. It's a big wick. So I do worry about distance. I look at all this, and this is enough to talk me out of the trade because, like I said, they either work or they don't. And even if it goes 6 candles, you can see we got a decent move. My big question here is, did we get a 1% move? $1.21. We're under 1%. It's about a $200 per share stock. So am I glad I didn't take it? Yeah. But if you were only focused in on NVIDIA and nothing else, and you just waited for the break of the Easy Entry Pro, you got a winning trade here. So what does that tell us about Easy Entry Pro, you guys? It tells you that out of the 6 tickers we were watching today, all of them produced winning trades. You had MU, right? And you had Hood right at the open, the very first candle, and Tesla that did not work out. Okay, they did not work out. Would you have gotten stopped out? Well, if you had followed the rules, you should have not gotten into Hood. So that's a no-brainer. There's no, even though you got an Easy Entry Pro, you would have not gotten stopped out. I should have not gotten stopped out of Tesla, but like I said, I always take that initial contract to kill the impulse. MU, I'm happy with my entry. It just didn't work. Okay, it just didn't work, and I got out of that trade relatively quick. And you can see that even a small little pullback on that costed me about 220 bucks or $200 on that on one contract. So I thought that was worth it. Definitely trying to get that move to the upside. So if you look at all of these, and you would have taken the second move on MU, you can see where I got out right in here, right? Very small pullback considering the full move. And then even if I had waited 2 or 3 more candles here for the Easy Entry Pro, I would have made twice the money back. I would have made my money back on it and done just fine on this. So my point being, if you're playing the Easy Entry Pro and you stay focused in on your chart, right, you should be able to get a green trade every single day. If you get red, the number one reason for getting red is getting locked out, mentally locked out of trading. And that is, if you're just starting to trade, you might take the MU and you get a loss. You're more focused in on the loss. You lock yourself out mentally, and it doesn't allow you to take an additional trade. But as time goes on, right, it gave you that airplane jumping analogy. As time goes on and you prepare and you understand this, you'll start picking this up and you'll start getting through this, okay? But you can see all of the Easy Entry Pros, you guys, they all work to some degree or another, and it's going to take a little bit of practice emotionally, right, psychologically to get through these. So other than that, you guys, I think we had a good day trading. Considering price action, considering everything that went on today, I could tell you there's a ton of traders out there right now that are saying, I'm not trading this. It's too slow. It's too this. It's too that. But with the Easy Entry Pro, you guys, I think we had a great day trading. It was very relaxing. We didn't have to worry about price whipping back and forth and stopping us out with big candles. We got a nice little grind on Tesla. We got a nice little grind on Meta, a tiny grind on Palantir, a little grind on Hood, a nice grind to the downside on MU, NVIDIA. They all worked out just fine. So congratulations to everyone that got green today. I'm going to head out and I'll get a recap video out here later today, and we'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. All right, take care.